Another pretty high-profile name also hit the portal at quarterback this morning, and that is Cal quarterback Fernando Mendoza. D, you and I are very familiar with Fernando Mendoza, him being a guy who played his ball here in Miami in high school at Columbus, and someone who had a really good season this year for Cal, had a viral moment there in a post-game interview. Everything from a character standpoint that we know about him is A++. Has been a guy who's always consistently gotten better every single year that we've seen him. Tall, lanky, more athletic than people give him credit for, I would say. He's not a statue in the pocket. And you look at his numbers this year. I mean, going into the last game of the season before he got hurt, he was the number 11 passer in the country. So you're looking at a guy who didn't have a whole lot of help around him at Cal either. The offensive line was one of the worst in the country by the numbers. Jaden Ott was hurt for a good amount of the year, and then I don't think he really had the talent on the perimeter. Had some good tight ends over there, but outside of that, it's going to be very interesting to see where this guy lands, because the early buzz is that he is someone who the NFL is interested in, and again, has played a lot of football now at this point.
Yeah, Fernando Mendoza is going to be one of the hottest names in the portal. You saw the tweet from Chris Hummer, 247, saying between coaching sources, personnel office sources, they believe this is a big-time quarterback, a high-end guy with NFL potential. That's how he's viewed. That's how he's valued. He is going to make a lot of money by entering the portal. His brother is at Indiana as a young backup quarterback. Could that be a fit to replace Curtis Rourke, play major Big Ten football, carry on what they're building there with Coach Cignetti? That makes a lot of sense. Michigan, I don't see it as much because you do have Bryce Underwood waiting in the wings. But Big Ten in general, I think, is a fit for Mendoza. He's a smart player. You could put him in the cold weather and he'll be fine. He's actually somebody that I watched in high school, and I like to think, I hope to think I was one of the first people to say he was a D1 player. At that time, he was committed to Yale to show you how smart he was. And I remember seeing him, and I posted about it. I wondered, how is this guy not a Division I player? He's 6'5". He's getting more athletic. He took some time to coordinate into his body. Played in the run-first type of offense. But here's the post. What's this? What was this from 2021?
This is from November 23rd, 2021. Yeah.
So again, saw Mendoza and committed to Yale, said this guy, he plays in a run-first offense at Columbus, but he wins quite a bit in that offense, and he's improved a lot over time, mostly from the athletic standpoint. Not the most twitchy, explosive guy, but a smooth athlete as he coordinated into that 6'5" frame, and he had good arm strength. Of course, Yale committed at that time, so the IQ part is pretty easy to see. Goes to Cal, starts as a true freshman, continues to develop. One of the most prolific passers in the country this year from a yardage standpoint, had over 3,000 yards, missing a game. Did not have great protection. California's offensive line was weak. Did not have that great receivers. Got better towards the end, but beginning of the year was missing a lot of guys. Running back-wise, Jaden Ott was not what he was the prior year. So this guy really carried Cal to a bowl, almost single-handedly, had the big comeback win against Stanford, the emotional postgame. Put him in an offense where he can be the game manager, somebody who uses his intellect and his ability to see the field to distribute the ball to good weapons. I think this guy can be one of the better passers in college football. He already is statistically, at least from a yardage standpoint, but the touchdowns and all those kind of things, the efficiency, that'll take a jump when you get better players around him. Again, I mentioned Indiana as a potential fit. Georgia is looking for a quarterback. I don't know if they found it. We'll see what happens in the playoff here with Gunnar Stockton. They could be someone to watch. We just talked about Auburn. Are they going to try to circle back with the Mendoza? They've lost to Mendoza when he went to the Plains and beat them with his Cal team. A lot of teams need a player like this. If Drew Aller goes pro unexpectedly, does Penn State become a team in the quarterback market? This is a very, very interesting one to watch. I think a lot of teams are going to be interested in Drew Aller.
Well, you mentioned, to speculate in terms of Mendoza, you mentioned Indiana. His brother, Alberto, is a freshman quarterback there at Indiana. So, I mean, just again, speculating, you have to think after the season Indiana's had, does he say to himself, look, I'll go in, I'll replace Rourke for a year, and then my brother takes over after that? I mean, that seems like a potential landing spot for him, but there has not been any news on visits. no word yet. Miami could be someone who's obviously in the market for a quarterback, and we know that there are the ties there between obviously his dad, who played at the same high school as Mario Cristobal. And we have a question here from Tally Kane.
Right there is that if he's so highly rated, why did Miami?
This was, I think, this question was about Mensa.
Oh, here we go. He did have a question about Mendoza, saying, "Do you see Miami going after Mendoza, or sitting or waiting?" I do see Miami taking a good look at Mendoza. They obviously familiar with him. They played him. He had a big game against Miami this year in Cal. Miami's evaluating. They got other things that they're working on, looking at, but I do see Mendoza as a potential fit. I don't think that would be my prediction of where he lands, but it's very possible because of the offensive line, because of the variety of weapons. Of course, Emory Williams, their backup quarterback this year, similar cerebral type, tall pocket passer to Mendoza. I'm sure there'll be some on the team who would say, why'd you bring in a guy to replace someone that we already like and have? That's something to monitor. But to me, Mendoza just feels like Big Ten to me. If I'm predicting right here, I'm saying Indiana is the fit to carry on their winning tradition, and then bridge with his brother, who redshirts, then takes over as a redshirt sophomore.